I don't want it under that. Let's put it so it's like that. I'll cover the screen. I'll get it level one side. Look, that's better. Right, so I started off with obviously my wool mat. You want a big surface. Now some of you have made the Oh So Useful. It looks amazing. And by all means use your Oh So Useful for making this particular project, but you'll have to go smaller. Go a little bit smaller. I'm going to go big because that's just the kind of gal I am. But only because then you can see it. I'm using some of the Egyptian cotton. So if you've got some of that, or anything actually, sorry, a lot of noise, anything will do, even a plastic bag. Yes, I know. So I've got my big iron out. Don't worry about the fact that it's not cut straight. You'll notice in a while it doesn't matter what sort of shape I've got here. So let's just iron that, get that nice and crease free. I mean, it's going to end up crease free anyway. Just put my iron to one side. And now what we need to do is to prepare some bits and bobs. Okay, now you're going to be interested in this, I think, because this is quite different to what you may have seen before. I'm just organising my desk. So I need a cutting mat, so I'm going to bring up my sort of half size one. Okay, and I need some plastic bags. Doesn't matter where you get them from. I'm not a snob. I just happen to have this one and I like the colours. And what you need to do is trim away some of the seams and some of the folds so you've got flat pieces of plastic. Your plastic should be stretchy. Okay, so when I get hold of this, it stretches. It doesn't rip. It's a special sort of plastic, really. And what we're going to do is cut. I've got my old rotary cutter here, so please don't worry. Cut some pieces. In fact, I might as well just go freestyle. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter whether you cut by hand. It doesn't matter the colours, unless the colours are something that you're particularly fussy about. It could be, let's just pop that to one side. It could be, you recognise these. So again, if you get hold of it, it stretches, okay? It could be that this writing, you like this kind of writing. Go away, fly. If you've got a logo, you might like to keep the logo, not Tesco, but if you, oh, how much did I spend? £4.46. Wonder what that was. So if you've got a bag that's stretchy and it has a picture on it, it could be anything, let's be honest. Then use that, cut out the logo and use that. Keeping it separate. So let's just cut this up into pieces. So we're literally just cutting through. And you might think perhaps they're too big, so you can always cut them again. See how you go. We'll keep them like that. Now these types of bags are double-sided, okay? So you've got the same colour back and front. With this one, we've got white inside, and so you want to try and keep your pieces all facing upright. You'll see why in a minute. So let's just bring that along there. So obviously some of these are the back, so we'd need to, oh, that's a nice little duck's head or something. So you'll need to turn them over, but start off at least part way, the right way up. Okay, so let's move our mat away. I'm just going to slide these onto my fabric. Now, like I say, if you want to, you can use plastic for this part here. So instead of using fabric like I have, whoops, you can use plastic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to spread these out. Okay, so some of these are doubled up because they were cut on the fold of the bag. So like I said, you might want to cut them, but even if you iron them with, and that's what we're going to do next, even if you iron them double, it won't matter. So then spread all your colours out. Make sure you flip them over if you want them flipped over. On this particular Waitrose bag, one side is coloured with the peppers, which is lovely, and the other side is sort of grey tones. I don't know what it is, I didn't even notice. And of course, if you've got a bag for life that has seen better days, I know you can swap them again, I know that, before anybody says anything. But actually, you know, if you want to have a little play, oh, just go and cut one up. I mean, originally they were only 10p. You can't buy much for 10p these days. So like I say, just spread all these bits out. At least it can take a while, so this is a little bit boring to watch, I know. But bear with. It's just a white bit. Okay, so that's not bad. I'm fairly happy with that. Fairly. So now we've spread them all out, we could add some glitter. I keep breathing, and especially the red, it's so light. So we can add some little bits of glitter. Now this glitter is made especially for heat transfer onto clothing, so it's suitable for fabric, but it's sort of it bonds down, so that's just what we want. So what you can do is you could cut some snippets off, try and keep it, oh, that's in my Amazon shop as well, try and keep it really glittery side up. There is definitely a right and a wrong. If I turn that over, oh, blow me, there was one that wasn't quite as glittery as that, but anyway. I love it when a plan comes together. So you could cut some of this off, and you can just see, well, maybe you can't, or I can see, but there's some lovely glittery pieces on here now. Okay, we're going to do something else, so don't panic, hasn't finished yet. Okay, so now we've got our pieces laid down roughly where we want them. I mean, try not to get too many layers. You need it to bond well, really, so try and spread it out. You could probably do better than that. So now what you want is some baking parchment, and pop it down over the top. Okay, and then get your iron, and you're literally melting the plastic. Oh, I can see, I don't know if you can see, but the red has gone really holy, not in religious, just holy. Let's turn my iron down a bit. So you're literally melting the plastic bag pieces into your fabric. Now this could take a few little attempts to do, so you have to try and have a little bit of patience. We'll see how we get on. And the first time you lift the parchment paper off, the baking paper off, you might find that you need to peel off the pieces. You'll see as we do it. So we'll try and cool that off a little bit. Very unsuccessfully. I like that. I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny little bird's face there. It's lovely. So just start to peel back. And some of them will stay and some of them won't, but you're not to worry about any of that, because sometimes it's because the plastic is still hot. Let me pop something on there because that just doesn't want to stay put. Ideally you're going to leave it to cool a little bit. And also, oh, come on, that's stuck on the parchment. Here we go. So you might have to work at it to get it to stay. Okay, right. So ideally we do that again. We'll put the baking parchment over the top. I don't know why that didn't take. Perhaps it just likes my baking paper. Let's just pop it down. There we go. Come on. There we are. Yeah, so you might want to put some more pieces on. I think I'll just leave it like that for the moment, because you've got to remember there's quite, some of these are quite a few layers. I love how the red has actually shrunk back a little bit. So the next thing to do is, so you might want to put some more on, yeah? Might want to put some more on. So now, yeah, quality street wrappers. Actually, you can do exactly the same as what I'm doing with sweetie wrappers. So if you're into a certain sweet, then, and it's got a plasticky wrapper or something that you can trap between layers like we're going to do now, then it's perfect. It's perfect. So I've got a layer of cling film that's going over the top. Gosh, it always wants to stick to you, doesn't it? Never sticks to the pots, but it always sticks to you, and you think, why? Why? So we want our paper again, and we're going to do exactly the same again. So now we're sealing, and I suppose you could do it straight away. There's no reason why you can't go straight in and put the cling film over the top straight away. Just be careful you don't get it on your iron, especially if it's your best iron, because like I've just done. And give it a minute. Let's just get that. And give it a minute to melt, because you really are making layers now. So just be patient with it. And ideally you're going to allow your layers to cool down a little bit. Because as you add layers, it becomes more volatile, you'll see in a bit. So if I peel this back, we've now got all of that is sealed pretty much, okay, pretty much. So now what you can do, you can get some really lovely thread. Now this Madeira, I've never got it to work nicely in my machines, never. Goodness knows why, but just can't work with it. I suppose some machines it works perfectly fine with. So now what you can do is take your things like your gold thread, maybe thread that you're not going to use again, that's really quite metallic-y and pretty and bright. Then all you're going to do is snip that. I'll just see I wrapped that all in my hands, and you're just going to snip it into little tiny bits which go over your work. Now you might not be able to see a lot of this because I can tell from the screen that we are a bit glary, so I'll do the best I can. So yeah, so you can spread out your glittery. We've got some silver thread here, so again I can just reel that off, wrap it up, and this is silver glittery, so we can cut that, and that will spread out. So you see why you need quite a big piece, because you're not covering all of your fabric, you're only covering just a little piece. So I'll leave that bit there. Okay, so the next thing is to trap that layer. So we're going to use some cling film again, and just pop it over like that. And you might need to do 2 layers of this to get this right, if you like. So let's just trim that away. You know I'm never going to be able to unravel that again now. So I'll just do this one layer, but you might need to do more. Okay, and this time I'm going to take my time with my iron and seal all those pieces in. And again, all you're doing is running your iron over the whole piece. So in effect you are making almost, well, first of all you're making a piece of fabric that you can stitch with, but also you're making something that's a little bit, let's call it shower proof. Let's call it shower proof. But it's also something quite interesting. So for instance, if you went to, I don't know, York for your holidays, and you went to a shop and bought something gorgeous, and the carrier bag is pretty, and you want to keep it for your journal page or whatever, then this technique, you're saving it, aren't you? It's like almost like a photo album. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. But you want to take your time, and you want to allow that heat of the iron to penetrate through all of those layers. And as you build up the layer, your piece, when it cools, will start to curl. It curls at the edges. So you want to place something really heavy over the top of it for a little while to stop it from literally, it curls up. I'll show you one I did earlier on. So now what we've got is this wonderful piece of interesting fabric. If I bring it up to the camera, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that. So it's quite interesting. So if you had some lettering on there, or maybe you could be really specific and cut some cut some lettering out, some of that will show, right? Oh, excuse me. But like I say, because of these threads, I would add another layer of cling film to make sure that those threads are caught, because if they're not caught, they'll just come off, basically. So you can see now that as it's cooling, it kind of shrinks in. Okay, so once you've got that made, you've then got something to work with. So we can cut this down now. Don't know if my rotary blade will go through because it's so blunt now. You can certainly tidy it up. And like I say, I'll show you the bit that I did earlier. And from here, you could actually stitch it and make a pouch if you wanted to. Like if any of you watched Abigail last night, she made hers into a simple pouch because it doesn't need anything complicated. See, now look, these edges here, you can see they're loose, so you need to put the iron over it again. And if you do this technique, which is hardly costing you any money, and it is a bit of fun, but just watch your iron, then you know, you can take your time over it, whereas I'm obviously always up against the clock. So I'll just cut it back. I just wish my rotary cutter was a bit better. Oh, crikey. There we go. And what we can do is we'll get this in again, and I'll run the iron over it with the paper, and then we can seal the edges. Let's just move that along a little bit. Hold on. And the more you do this, and the more layers you put on, obviously the more interesting it'll get. You just need to be patient with it. And if you cut it like I've done, you need to seal the edges. But you can, I've used that in the Egyptian cotton, but you could use plastic. So your whole layers are consisting of plastic, and it's plastic that perhaps you would throw away without thinking, where actually you could recycle them and make them into something really lovely. So as we peel that away again, it's come off my fabric this time. Let's peel that away again. And as that cools now, it'll start to curl. So can you see? So as soon as it starts to cool, it'll pull in. And so you need to be able to control that. You need to put it under, I put it underneath this mat and just kept walking over it for a day or so. And it didn't turn out too badly. So this is the one that I did earlier, which is kind of similar. It's a little bit stronger because obviously I had more time to mess about with it. And now you could use that for baking pouches. And you can cut into it as well and make applique pieces. But obviously you want to be careful with your machine, all those sort of things. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad because you've only got fabric and a little bit of plastic over it. The other thing you could do is to turn it into vinyl by using your iron-on vinyl pieces. So this is your iron-on vinyl, and you could actually then vinyl actually over the top. So you've got a proper waterproof outer. Well, I'll put the hot one to one side. I mean, it's not super hot. Not super hot. Don't get me wrong. So this is where I need to be really careful because I don't want vinyl on my ironing mat. So I don't want that little bit there, so I'll get rid of that. But let's make enough to cover this, but not all of it, because I just, like I say, I don't want to ruin my mat. Got to be careful with it. I do love it, but you got to be mindful. So let's just cut this. I hope I've remembered how to use this. Don't know if I have. Let's just cut it here. I can't remember how. There is a grid on the back where you can see the grid. Let's just do that. So I think this peels off, doesn't it? I think that's how we work. I can't remember. It's been ages since I've used this. And because I'm of an age, you forget. So just peel it off. Yeah, it's sticky that side. Put it over the top. I'm going to waste a little bit of this, but so be it. So this is a proper iron-on vinyl covering, okay? This is exactly what you need. Bit of rubbish cutting out. But to actually seal that, you need to use this again, or you need to use your baking paper again. Your baking, I call it parchment. So you need to run that over the top and heat seal it in. So you've got to be careful now, guys, because all the rest of it is plastic that's not, you know, on the sides here. Get my baking paper in. I don't want to, as much as I don't use this iron hardly at all, I want to look after it. So just peel that away. So the paper on the back of the vinyl has been designed to do exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so you're not doing anything different to what the manufacturer's instructions are. And then you can peel it away. Let's take the parchment off. Baking paper, must get it right. Don't know why that corner's come undone, but there you go. And now it's got a proper vinyl covering to it. It's a bit hot, so I'm not going to touch it. So you can see it's a little bit more shiny. So if I bring it up, let's try and do it so the light doesn't catch it. So although it looks crinkly, that's the fabric and the plastic underneath. The vinyl is perfectly smooth, and that has now created, I think it's super. It's now created a piece of fabric that you could make into a waterproof pouch. That could be on the inside, that could be the lining. You see how it wrinkles? I don't know if you can you see that? There we are. It's lovely, I love that. So you could then just stitch it together, pop a zip in, and that's something quite unique, it's quite different. I like that. Yeah, so there you go. Try it. Just be mindful of your iron and all your bits and bobs. Make sure you got all the right stuff. Make sure you got the right plastic. And that would easily take a zip. And I wouldn't, do you know what? I love the texture of that. I wouldn't even bother putting a lining in that. I would just, look at that. I would just leave it as it is. Cool. Super that. I like that very much. Okay. So, hold on a sec. So that is technique number 1. Oh, we've got, listen, I did say to you the other day we might start doing our lives a little bit longer than normal because we always have so much to cover. I've got one other technique I want to show you, and again this is going to be really, really useful for your journal pages if that's what you want to do. But also it's lovely, for instance, if you make the Oh So Spooky wreath, this is going to be perfect, but you want to make them what I'm going to show you a little bit bigger. So real quick, I'll do this as quick as I can, but it might take at least 15 minutes. Okay, so wrong mouse. So let's go back to the overhead again. So now what I've got is some washable or wash away. This is called like a soluble fleece. It's a different brand, but it's a similar thing. So a wash away, you can get like I was going to say vinyl again, but you can get a see-through one, a film. That's the best thing to say. You can get a film, or you can get this like fleece. You can see what it looks like. Veseline do one. I haven't got this on my Amazon shop, but you can get it from Amazon. This is a brothette one, is it? Is that how you say it? I can never say it right. Right, in the September Children in Need Bear, you have a pattern full of leaves. Now obviously if you haven't got the Children in Need Bear, A, why not? But B, you can pick up a leaf pattern anywhere. So I've printed that out and in fact what I want to do is get the inside of my ring and just draw onto my fleece the circle, so the inner circle. Okay, so now I know that that is my limitations. That circle is my limitations because it fits my hoop. And if you ever do free motion, it's always good to use a hoop. So we'll just do one, which seems quite wasteful, but we haven't got time to do any more. I have got some I've already made, so you can have a look at what I've already done. And I'm roughly drawing a leaf. Can be any leaf you like, okay? Don't just go by what I've done. And if you want to, you could draw in some veins. So while you're there, you could pop some veins in. Quite honestly, I did mine freestyle, if you like, and perfectly fine. So, you know, whatever you like. And that's your base. Let me turn that over. That's what you need to do. I know it's a little bit far away, but that's all you need to do. Just trace anything you like. It can be any of these, or you can make up your own. You know, you could draw another one in here like that and put some veins in if you want to. So, you know, the world's your oyster. And put as many as you want to inside that hoop. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the camera in, because I know now that we're a little bit too far away for this particular section. So so this is the wash away fleece, a soluble fleece. I think it's called Solufleece. And what we need to do is to hoop this up for our free motion. So you put the hoop down that has the metalware here. You put your fleece over the top and line up your circle that you drew. And then you put your inside hoop inside. And this is now flat. So in embroidery, you have your fabric like that, where it's on the top, hand embroidery. For the machine embroidery, you have it so you've got the rim of the hoop. And actually that's really good for holding on to, and it means that when you stitch, this is flat onto your machine. Okay, so that's why we use a hoop. Tighten up if you want, if you think you need to tighten it up just to hold it. People say it should be drum tight. Yes, I suppose it should be tight, but please don't worry too much about that. All we want to do is get it in the hoop to make it sort of fixed, if you like. Now this all is dependent on free motion embroidery, so if you haven't done that before, please have a go, because it's such fun, it really is, and there's nothing for you to worry about. Anyway, we've drawn our leaf. Now I've got it on the side camera, but I might have to move it. So I'll just step back a bit because I didn't set it up. I didn't have time, but I'll set it up now. It's not bad. We just need to zoom in a bit. So bear with. Oh, wrong way. Ooh, that's better. That'll do. Yeah. I'll just take the speed down a little bit. We don't need it on super fast. I've got it already set up, so hopefully it'll be fine. I've got an orange thread in the bottom, and I've got a metallic thread on the top. And my metallic thread, I'm just going to move my iron. There we go. My metallic thread is in a, just bear with, because I don't want this to catch on my machine. There we go. And my metallic thread is actually sitting on a holder on the desk. Okay, so hopefully you can see okay. It's a bit dark, isn't it? I'll do the best I can. So I'm popping it under the machine. So if you haven't got feed dogs to drop, then you're going to put your stitch length on 0, okay? That's a bit better. I've got my open toe foot so I can see what I'm doing, and it's an embroidery or darning foot. Some people call it free motion, but that's the one you want, and it jumps up and down. There, look, you can see there's a spring. So the first thing we're going to do is pop a foot down. You can grab hold of your thread if you think you might have bother. Oops, nearly knocked my thread off. And then you're just going to start stitching. You're just going to relax, hopefully. You're going to make a few stitches to start off, and then you're going to cut that long thread out of the way because that will just irritate you. Can you see okay? Which way is better? That way. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to now follow the lines of our drawn leaf. Okay. You don't want to go too fast, you don't want to go too slow. So, oops, so you're literally following the lines around. Now, if at some point your mechanics, if you like, on the machine get stuck on the wooden hoop, just move your work, okay? Because you've got quite a lot of gubbins going on the back of your foot, because you've got an embroidery foot on there now. Okay, so we've done one round, so we're going to do at least 2 more, so I'll go a little bit quicker. You don't really want uber small stitches, but it doesn't matter if they are. You don't want long stitches, so if you're moving your work too quickly, you'll get long stitches. Okay, because all this depends on how you move the fabric, because you are driving your machine now. You've got it out of automatic, and you've got your gear stick and your clutch and the steering wheel, and you are now driving. Now, it occurred to me, and it was something that Sarah Payne said, you didn't suddenly get in a car and drive. Well, likewise with free motion, you're not going to suddenly go sit on your machine and do a fabulous bit of free motioning. You need to practice, and you need a consistent speed, you need good thread, And you just need a steady hand. Look, you can see my hands are they're literally just touching the edge. I'm not grabbing hold of it, I'm literally just touching. So now we're going to do the stems, the stalky bits. This is when you're going to make sure your stitches touch the outside edge. So I'm going right up, you can see where my needle is, I'm going right up to the stitches that I've just done. Coming back, I'm following my lines because I drew them, so I might as well. And I'm doing it at least three lines, more if you want. And I'm going from one row of stitching to another. Try not to get them too straight, although by the end you'll hardly notice them. I've got a variegated thread in here, so it looks particularly lovely. At least 3 lines of stitching, 4 if you want, and you're literally just joining up the dots, if you like. You're creating a piece of lace. So I want you to consider, if you don't join up from there where I am now back to there where I started, you'll end up with a hole. I promise you will. Again, we'll just put another piece in here. So at the moment we've got like a sort of a grid going on, and you'll hardly notice this in the end. So where I just did a little short bit there, can you see? That's no good to man the beast. I've got to join it up. Join it up. Otherwise it's not attached to anything. Okay, so now we've got our grid. There's lots of different ways you can join up now your grid. You can do, if this is appropriate, you can do straight lines if you want to. You can do almost like a cross hatch, as long as all your stitches cross over more stitches, because you're joining, it's like a cobweb, you're joining everything up. But I like to do little circles, so again let's just go for little circles. So I'm joining my circle up to the outside edge. I'm just doing little circles here. My tension's a bit off with this machine, but I'm not gonna worry about it. So my bottom stitches are going over where my veins are, and all of that is being joined together. And then if you're not sure, just put a few little lines in the middle, and that will join all those rows up. So just keep going, little circles, join up your outside lines with your circles. Join your circles to your circles. If you're not sure, go over it again. So I'm literally swinging around, picking up my stems that I've just done. Change direction, go letter of, what is it, figure 8. Go up to the top, come back, do big swirls to hold them all together. If you leave big circles, they will stay as big circles as your lace, so be thinking about that. But you really have to join the dots. If you don't, you'll end up with holes. So practice makes perfect, like everything. So again, not sure, just put a few extra stitches in. Let's just carry on and just join all those pieces together. Looks fabulous. So thinking about your journal pages for October or even September, if you want to go back a month, these little leaves in these colours would be absolutely perfect to then applique onto your journal page. If, like Kath, you've been up in the Highlands of Scotland and into Cumbria and all around there, you've got all those fabulous autumnal colours that you must have seen on your travels. Well, this could be just one little thing that represents that journey. Super. So you can see, I just absolutely love doing this. Little circles, You just need to make sure you join up. If you're not sure, then go over it again. Oh, it's crunchy. Let's have a look. Oops. Just have a look at my needle. Yeah, I thought I'd lost my thread. So I've lost my thread, okay? And that happens from time to time. So you can just rethread bring your foot up. Otherwise it releases the tension. Sorry, I got my arm right in the way. Just rethreading my machine. This isn't my normal excellent quality thread, by the way. This is something else. But I thought I'd give it a go because it's variegated. So let's just try and thread this up. Foot down for mine. Oh, no. Oh, okay, try that again. It's not having any of it. Let's try that again. Bear with. If not, I've got one that I've done earlier, but I really want to show you. I really want to show you this. Let's just take the thread out. Sorry, I got my arms in the way. I think I moved my embroidery hold thingy. Just bear with. Let me just put this on the front, otherwise you're going to just keep seeing this, my sleeve the whole time. So, take it round there. Not sure if that actually caught. Let's do that again. Yeah, so it's nice to have a little go at these things. Oh, that's why. Didn't have my needle up. Yeah, it's nice to have a go with these things. Oh, come on, that's it. That's it. Yeah, just to see if it's something that floats your boat. It might be something that you know you're really not interested in, but you don't mind watching. You don't mind watching to see what happens and see how it all comes together. It might be something that you're not brave enough to do at the minute, but on the other hand, this could be just the thing you're looking for. So, you know, I can only sort of give you ideas and try and give you a little bit of inspiration. So now we've threaded that up again. Let's see how we get on. So don't worry about if that happens, because you just carry on as if it hasn't. And if you've got some loose threads, cut them off. All you've got to do is make sure that you've got no gaps, basically, that you've got lovely circles that all join up together. And like I say, you're making a piece of lace. Yeah, and you'll either love it or hate it. I think maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think you should try. Like I say, if you're not sure, then go over it again. And it doesn't matter if you go from one side to another. So for instance, my needle is where it is. I might want to hop right over to here, so I can. I would do it a little bit wriggly. I wouldn't do a straight line, but yeah. So you must never be worried. Your machine will be able to do it. It's not going to break your machine if the thread breaks or something gets snagged. You just got to be patient and give it another go. Now what you could do is go over your veins again. Sorry, I'll just move my machine so you can see. So you could go over your veins again. Do you see how you can just see them, but you could go over again. You could even put a different thread there to make the veins stand out. That's up to you. But anyway, the next stage, and we're at 6 minutes past, that's not too bad. So obviously you're going to fill this. Let me just come out a little bit. Hold on, let's see if I can get... Ooh, sorry, I never was good at this sort of thing. That's it. So you're going to fill all that. You don't, please don't just do one leaf on a big piece like this. carry on. And then what you're going to do, obviously I've got to do this for demonstration. Let me just come in a wee bit. Sorry guys, I'm such a nuisance today, aren't I? Whoop. That's it. So what you're going to do is that you're going to cut around this. And you could do this with hand embroidery if you want. It doesn't have to be machine embroidery. It doesn't really doesn't. So don't think this is a waste. But then again, you see, I could put this into a smaller hoop. Okay, it's only heat erasable, so the heat somewhere, even with a hairdryer, would take those lines away, and I could use a smaller hoop. But the bigger hoop is nice because you can get your hands, you can just get your hands on it and rest and just move it like that. It's lovely. So there's your leaf. Okay, so the next bit, I've got to get up and get something. Just bear with. I hope this has cooled down. So you need tepid water, guys. So I've got my flask. Now, I don't want to complain to the management, but it's a little bit dusty. We never use a flask. It's a bit hot, so we'll see. So you want just tepid water. This is a little bit hot. But I had to have it hot because I knew it was going to be at least 45 minutes. And it's no good cold, really. You can try, but it's not really very good cold. I haven't got my oh, hold on. Excuse me for leaning over again. Oh, isn't it always the way? So I'm just going to take because the water's a bit hot, I'm just going to take my hemostats and literally I'm just going to dip it into the water, and that glue is now gone. That's because the water was really hot. So I wouldn't have your water that hot. Truly I wouldn't. Okay, but the glue is practically gone. Now, they often say it's good to keep a little bit of glue in with your fibres because it gives it a sort of like a starch. It kind of starches it. So, oh, that's not too hot now. So let's just move this away. I hope Millie doesn't come up. I'll just put that down there. So what we've got now is a piece of lace. Okay, I'll just get my piece of paper back again. And this could go on a paper towel to dry naturally. It's quite small. Or you can put the hairdryer on it. Depends on what threads you've done, really. But at the end of the day, I made 4. And all of these can now go on to a project. I put some sparkle on there as well. So all of these can go onto a project. They could go onto a journal page. So if I just hold one up like that. Oops. Oh, Millie, hold on. Let's move the boiling water. It's not good for a dog. Then that's what you end up with. Hi Millie, don't you steal anything. It's like a really lovely lacy effect. Beautiful. But like I say, unless you've I'm watching the dog. Unless you've joined up all of your edges, you'll end up, and there was one little piece here that I noticed earlier that wasn't quite joined up. Oh, there, look. Let me get my pokey tool. I want you to have a look. Just there. Can you see? Just there. It's not joined. But honestly, you wouldn't notice if that was in a big project. But you can make bigger ones than these, obviously, and put them on your oh so spooky wreath, or make a garland. And Millie, what are you doing? And use some of your characters that I gave you interspersed with the leaves. I mean, it could take a little bit of time to do a big size garland, but the thing is, it's there to be done, isn't it? It's there to be done. Can you see? Anyway, 2 lovely techniques for you tonight. You're working with recycling plastic bags and things like that, plastic wrapping, using your cling film, making sure you use baking sheet